let's shift gears now. 2 African designers will show collections at the New York Fashion Week this coming September. One of them is Laduma Ngxokolo's Maxhosa Africa label, which will explore the theme which translates to "We are kings and queens." Now, I'm joined in the studio by Lihle Ngxokolo. He's Maxhosa Africa's general manager, and she is here as the general manager of what we now know as the empire that is Maxhosa Africa. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me, Miss Sal.
Now, your brother's story, I think, is pretty well known, and if it isn't, it should be, because it is just a fabulously South African story right to its very core. I mean, I was exposed to him, I think it was a video that kind of went viral when he spoke at the Design in Daba
in 2011.
Yes. Quite a few years ago, and he spoke of the influence of Xhosa initiates and the clothes that they would wear after they'd gone through the process, and then the process would continue after that, where they were taught various things around manhood after that, as was part of the protocol.
Yes.
And I remember at the time going back to thinking of the young men I was studying with at the time, and one day they were dressed a certain way, and then a little while later, after the mid-year break, they'd come back and they'd dress a certain other way, and we'd have a conversation about it, and they explained it and that kind of thing. So when he spoke about what the influence was behind him starting this range, it just all made sense. It was about taking that culture, glorifying it in a way, but taking ownership of it, because for so long these young men would have to wear international brands of knitwear.
Yes.
Is that still an important part? It's quite a few years on. You've now been seen in Paris, Milan, all the places, the famous fashion places. Is it still at the core?
Not necessarily. So that range was the inspiration. So he took from the Xhosa initiates, because when he went through that process, it felt like wearing your Pringles and your international brand didn't relate to him. So when he had to do his assignment, he thought, okay, I've got a thesis to do. What different can I do? Firstly, our mother taught him knitwear. Secondly, she also taught us a Xhosa philosophy. So we were so fully knowledge about our Xhosa culture and the beauties and what we can do with it. Then he realized at the end, no man, there's no one who has explored this version of our Xhosa culture. Yes, I will use the Xhosa culture as an inspiration, but I want the knitwear to be more modern and also be an everyday wear, as opposed to just us Xhosa people wearing our attires in special occasions. So that inspiration started with just 5 pieces, the first collection, and then second collection, the pieces added, and then ladies said, oh, I also want, so we also went to ladies. From ladies, we started new brand portfolios such as homeware and so forth. So not necessarily that we are still stuck in that core function of just doing for initiates. It was one of the greatest inspirations, but we will still continue to living up to that actual inspiration.
Now, quite fascinating that you speak about the influence of your mother and what she was able to teach you, because we all know the story, the Laduma story about the initiates part of the story. But very little is known about the influence that your mother had. And it being Women's Month, it is really the perfect time to tell that story about how she taught your siblings to sew, and the importance of beadwork, and bringing across the knowledge of your culture at the same time. Talk to me about her influence.
We are 4 siblings who all work in the brand right now, having
family business,
having different roles in the business. Our mother, she was a single parent. We grew up with our mother teaching us how to be together, how to always live together and understand each other's strengths and weaknesses. And to look out for each other. And to look out for each other always. Therefore, I'm sure you've heard the story that we never even had a TV growing up. So we were so used to being sewing, doing beadwork. But what she knew at that very moment, who is strong at what point. So our elder sister studied fashion design because she started sewing she had her first machine at the age of 9. Laduma followed the knitwear range. My brother Mangaliso went into the accounting and logistics side.
And when your mother passed away, that's how they could look after the family, wasn't
That's how they could look after us, because I'm the last sibling. But I just finished primary at the time she passed on. But she knew our strengths, each and every one of them. At the time, we didn't know what she foreseen for our future, but right now we are actually living out to her dreams.
And here you are, New York Fashion Week awaits. Tell us what that's going to be about.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. As you know, in the fashion industry, there are three best fashion weeks, which New York Fashion Week is part of. It's New York, Paris, and Milan. And we've been wanting to be on New York Fashion Week on the official schedule. It's something to be in the Fashion Week, but if you
don't want to be on the fringes.
You want to be on the official schedule. So what we did right now, a couple of months ago, Laduma had a visit to Craig Mutwa, and he said to him that we as Africans really celebrate our Africanness and how great we are. So that stuck in his head, and he thought, oh my goodness, the next collection, I will name it that. And it was even better that we'll be going to an international stage to show this collection for the very first time. So that's why it was named We Are Kings and Queens, because we are so regal, we are majestic as Africans, and we are the best in the world. So it's best that we name this collection that, so when we take it to the New York Fashion Week, they know who we are.
Now, they're already very famous people who know who you are. People like Beyonce and Alicia Keys have been seen wearing the brand as well. But I've seen various interviews that you've all done as part of the brand saying, but that's not what it's about. It's about ordinary South Africans being able to wear it, and people from different tribes as well.
Correct. So what we're doing in this next collection, when you mention that people from different tribes, we're also not just showing the Xhosa culture. We are also saying, if you are Sotho, if you are Zimbabwean, if you're from Nigeria, come through. Let's expose what we have. Therefore, we will be exposing, also borrowing from other culture, maybe using a hat from a Yoruba. So we are mixing the different cultures. So at first, someone will say, I can't wear this because it's meant for Xhosa people. No, it's not. It's not meant for Xhosa people. It's not meant for celebrities locally and internationally. It's made for every person in the world.
The colour girl from Cape Town can wear it as well.
Colour girl from Cape Town can do that. If you've done the Cape Flats, Mitchell's Plain, you can rock it. And also what we do as well, as though we're an African luxury brand, we want everyone, our clothes to also be an everyday wear. Because for us Xhosa people, it was a matter of we wear our attire on special occasion, whether there's a wedding, there's a special event. So that's why we have our ready-to-wear items that you can wear up or down depending what you...
And is it a little bit more price-friendly as well?
When we speak about price...
You're the business person, so I'm going to ask you.
When we speak about price, I always say there's an entry point to it.
Of course,
there's
it's a luxury wear.
You get pins that range from 150, because when someone says, oh, I can't afford it, we always say we're an inspirational brand.
Absolutely, and it's an investment piece.
And it's an
well.
investment piece. So you can start low, go big as the biggest rug that you want. It's entirely up to you.
And wear it with pride as a South African, of course, as well. And an African.
And an African
Indeed.
as well.
Now listen, everybody's going to be waiting with bated breath to see this range at the New York Fashion Week. Will you guys be updating your social media platforms so people can see what's happening as it unfolds?
Yes, we will definitely be doing that. At the moment, we've just sent out a save the date. That's how the media knew about it.
Yes.
As we're going further, the show is actually on the 5th of September, but we'll be doing regular updates. So even if you're not there, we usually also do live shows.
Amazing.
For our Instagram and Facebook and Twitter people to see what's happening. So we are all there together.
All there and woke and wearing a beautiful brand. Thank you.
And regal.
And regal,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
We are kings and queens is the theme of that collection at the New York Fashion Week this coming September. And Lihle Ngxokolo is the general manager for Maxhosa Africa. Thank you.